guys that over on that board, I'll list a quiz or a test if it's coming up this week. We don't have any quizzes this week. Our first quiz will be next week. And then the test, I believe, is the week after that. So just kind of keeping that in mind. And then next week, we don't have school on Monday. So the first quiz, like Tuesday, I'll see you guys. And then that quiz will be on Thursday. Are you serious? Going?
Then
So Labor Day, then homecoming week. Oh yeah, and then there's a professional learning day. Wow, that's crazy. Huh, well, that's good. Hopefully you guys will get a little more sleep after the weekend. All right, we warmed up order of operations. So let's just go ahead and make sure we know the symbols for them. Order of operations, and let's write, this is important when you see the word simplify. There's a lot of math words, especially in Algebra 2, and it's important, you know, what do I do when that word comes up? This will say simplify, and that tells me I need to use the order of operations, which consists of, you guys already told me, parentheses, exponents, you'll see something squared or cubed or to the fourth. Then multiplication can be written with a dot or with parentheses, and division. If you see multiplication or division on the same line, just make sure you keep in mind they have to be done left to right in the problem. And then A stands for addition, S stands for subtraction. And once we see those, we want to make sure that we organize or that we perform the operations again, left to right. Last thing to keep in mind, make sure you do parentheses first and then go down the line. Another important thing to make note of, some people are unaware of this, there are invisible parentheses around values in the numerator or denominator. Let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. If you have something like 1 plus 2 over 7, sometimes people look at this and they say, oh, do the divide first, and they'll do 2 divided by 7. But there's invisible parentheses around the 1 and 2. They're grouped because they're in the numerator. So I just have to be aware of that. That's written as, that would be simplified as 3 over 7. 1 plus 2 divided by 7 is actually the exact same thing as writing it out horizontally, where 1 plus 2 are in parentheses, and then you're dividing by 7. So that's just the same thing. And that's some of what the prerequisite chapter is going to try to enforce to you guys, is how you can see answers that are the same in different ways or problems. The other thing to keep in mind are your properties of negatives. If you have a negative outside of a parentheses, as long as there's no exponent, you can think of it as like a -1 times the negative, which produces a positive. Might be easier to look at the actual number examples off to the right. If you have like a negative times a -4 times -3 creates a positive 4 times 3. If you have a negative on the outside, you can distribute it. And here, if I have a negative on the outside, I can rearrange those numbers and call that 8 minus 5, which is the same as -5 plus 8. It's just the same thing. Okay, let's practice. Now, something I want to point your attention to. See how this says no calculator? In Algebra 2 and intermediate algebra, and college algebra, all forms of Algebra 2, we always have a calculator and a non-calculator portion of exams, so quizzes or tests. So this, don't just type it into your calculator, because this we're looking that you can do without the calculator, so that when it shows up on the ACT or SAT on the non-calculator portion, you'll already be equipped with how to do it. So let's take a look at number 1. Number 1, hopefully this is a warm-up question. You can work left to right, or if it's just addition and subtraction, you can work actually in any order that you'd prefer. But you do need to keep in mind that when the signs are different, you subtract and keep the sign of the bigger number. So if I'm just moving left to right here, what is -4 plus 6? Close. +2, awesome. So I'd have 2, and then I have -2 minus 1. Yeah, so 2 minus 2 would give me 0, and then 0 minus 1 creates -1. All right, number 2, try that one on, oh, it's the same one. I meant to change that. Sorry, guys. Change that number 4.
Oh, number 2.
Is it different?
Yeah, it says -4 minus 6 plus 10 times 2.
So I downloaded the wrong notes. Awesome. Okay, go ahead and try the one that's on your page. I'll make sure I have the right one. And of course, the surface just blacked out on me. Try to record lessons.